President-elect Donald Trump says he will impose widespread tariffs on goods from Canada, Mexico, and China. Trump posted on his Truth Social platform Monday, quote, "On January 20th, as one of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States." He goes on to say, quote, "This tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and an illegal alien stop this invasion of our country." Trump also says he will impose an additional 10% tariff on imports from China. The U.S. currently imposes a range of tariffs on Chinese goods, including a 100% tariff on electric vehicles and a 50% tariff on semiconductors. Tariffs are paid by U.S. companies that purchase imported goods. Economists warn tariffs could lead to higher prices because those companies are likely to pass on additional costs to consumers. A recent CBS News poll found 52% of Americans are in favor of tariffs, while 48% oppose. Among only Trump voters, favorability shoots up to 83%. CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion joins us now from West Palm Beach, Florida. Nikole, Trump campaigned on lowering inflation, but many economists say tariffs will raise prices. How is the Trump team responding to those concerns?
Well, on the campaign trail, President-elect Donald Trump often scoffed at the idea that, this could negatively impact the economy. I don't know if you remember, but he did a pretty extensive interview with the Economic Club of Chicago where he was questioned about how this would all work. And, part of the point he made at that point in time is, that he kind of wants to incentivize companies to set up their headquarters here in the United States instead of having all of these overseas, bases of operation, which he says would therefore mean that these companies would not face tariffs. So that's one part of the argument. The other part is that if you look at his Truth Social post from last night, in essence, he said that part of the reason he wants to put pressure on these countries is he really wants to stop the flow of migrants coming into this country, even though border apprehensions are down, yes, but we know that that was something that he campaigned extensively on in terms of border security and strengthening the U.S.-Mexico border. And secondly, he also expressed concern about drugs coming into the country, particularly fentanyl. So that was part of the rationale behind imposing this 10% tariff on China. And he says basically until those issues are resolved, those tariffs would likely remain.
Nikole, how have leaders of Mexico, China, and Canada reacted to this announcement?
Well, certainly it's been a pretty mixed response from these countries, all of them really trying to encourage some dialogue around this issue. We heard from Mexico's president this morning who sent a letter to the president-elect and who expressed concerns that this could potentially start kind of a tit-for-tat dynamic. And keep in mind, Mexico is one of the U.S.'s largest trading partners. In fact, all of these countries are, in the top three. So this does have ramifications for all of them. In terms of Canada, we heard from Prime Minister Trudeau, who said that he had a call with President-elect Trump last night. The Trump transition didn't comment on that call, but Trudeau did and said, look, we kind of had a very candid discussion about, what's at stake here, and that he does intend to meet with some of his premiers later this week, but, really tried to stress the importance of the potential impact that these tariffs could have. And then lastly, of course, with respect to China, a Chinese embassy official said that it really doesn't benefit anybody to have a trade war or a tariff war.
Remind us, how has President Biden used tariffs during his tenure?
Well, interestingly, this is kind of an area where both leaders are somewhat aligned. I mean, President Biden didn't necessarily roll back all of Trump's tariffs from his first time in office and even increase some tariffs, particularly on China with respect to electric vehicles. So this is certainly a tactic that we are seeing some support from not only President Biden, but of course President-elect Trump, although certainly some Biden advisors have warned also, just like many economists out there, about the potential impact that these tariffs could have if they move forward.
Nikole Killion, thank you. For a deeper dive on how Trump's proposed tariffs could affect consumers, CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady joins us now. Kelly, this is becoming a nightly thing. We love having you. Can you give us a sense, though, of how much of our goods we get from these three countries?
So, look, Nikole just said it, right? These are three of our biggest trading partners. And in 2023 alone, across all three, we imported 1.3 trillion goods, right? That is a huge amount. So we are very much reliant on Mexico, China, and Canada for the goods that we import into this country. That being said, they are just as reliant on us, potentially even more. And that's where this point around leverage and negotiation comes into play. Canada and Mexico, 80% of the goods that they produce, right, they're exporting to us. And so we're a huge buyer of that.
And so is there an idea that there's going to be a tit for tat? If you tariff our imports, we're going to tariff yours?
Well, and that's the concern, this trade war idea. I will highlight, though, the timing of this is interesting. So, of course, Nikole mentioned the fentanyl piece, the immigration piece. There's also a key deal that is up for review, the USMCA. That's up for review in July of 2026. That replaced NAFTA. That's an agreement between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. And Trump has said that he wants to renegotiate that. So, of course, you've heard these leaders come out and say this would be a bad idea, but you also said they're willing to come to the table.
Once these tariffs kick in, if they kick in, how long until consumers notice a change, higher prices, for example?
Really depends on the product. You know, for some of these agricultural products, it could take a while to flow through the supply chain. And by the way, just because you get a 25% tariff doesn't mean you are going to see a full 25% increase. The different suppliers, different pieces in the supply chain, they would have to negotiate and figure out how much are they going to take versus pass on. Some analysts say, though, that the full impact could be 6 to 9 months for the consumer.
What products will most likely see an increase?
A lot. Okay. So, right, your iPhone, a lot of that's coming from China, your electronics, Mexico, Corona, maybe if you like that, right? Your alcoholic beverages, also plastics, big input in a lot of the things that we have. Canada, lumber, aluminum. I mean, really, I went to a hardware store today to talk to a small business owner. She's like, 95% of my stuff is imported. I would have to raise all of my costs here, and that would be really tough.
Okay. Kelly O'Grady, thanks for sharing that with us. Appreciate it.